and welcome to this week's news bulletin from the Christian Institute. Parents who cause psychological suffering could be committing a criminal offence under a new bill included in the Queen's speech this week. The proposals have been announced as part of the Serious Crime Bill, which the Coalition hopes to enshrine in law before the general election next year.
A serious crime bill will be brought forward to tackle child neglect, disrupt serious organised crime, and strengthen powers to seize the proceeds of crime.
Prior to the bill being published, critics raised concerns about the plans to tackle non-physical neglect. At the time, the president of the Association of Directors of Children's Services, Alan Wood, criticised the proposals, saying it could target innocent parents. The government suggests that 1 in 10 children suffers from some sort of neglect. But where do you draw the line between neglect that happens because of a lack of parental skill and that which is a criminal offence? While the intentions behind the new law are undoubtedly good, the practicalities of children's services mean that extra legislation is rarely the answer to any question. The government appears to have taken some of these criticisms on board, as the new bill is more modest in its reach, but it still remains to be seen whether the legislation will fully deal with all the concerns that have been raised. Controversial techniques to create 3- and 4-parent babies are not unsafe, according to a scientific review panel who also said more tests were needed. The Human Fertilisation and Embryology Authority, who have backed the proposals, commissioned the expert panel. The procedure, which will create embryos using DNA from 3 parents, has received criticism from Conservative MP Fiona Bruce. The international community is wholly against these techniques. The UK would be setting a very dangerous precedent in adopting them and isolating itself from the rest of the world. Many MPs are gravely worried about the safety of these proposals, the fact that they have not been properly tested, and the very real risk that they could open the door to designer babies. The techniques must be approved by Parliament before they are made legal. Earlier this year, a committee advising the US government questioned the ethics of creating 3-parent babies and said there is not enough preclinical data to show how they can be used safely. Scotland's named person scheme has sparked widespread outrage after it emerged that parents will be reported to the state for trivial incidents like forgetting their children's hospital appointments. Holyrood passed a bill earlier this year that contained the controversial scheme, despite warnings from family groups and a leading human rights lawyer who said the state employees' powers would cut across parental rights. One family received a letter from NHS Forth Valley telling them, "We are now required to inform the named person for your child if your child fails to attend an appointment." In addition to this, the letter also told the family that future relevant letters and reports would be sent to the named person. The family said, "We were absolutely shocked. The Health Board seems to be acting in advance of the law being implemented. They are certainly jumping the gun given the government has said the scheme is not to come into force for another 2 years. But it shows the extent to which the law will impact on families and their private lives." David Cameron, Ed Miliband and Nick Clegg have all spoken out against a death sentence given to a Christian woman in Sudan. Maryam Ibrahim was sentenced to death by hanging and 100 lashes after a court ruled that she had left Islam and committed adultery by marrying a Christian. Maryam gave birth to a daughter last week and was already caring for her young son in prison. Media reports had previously indicated she would be released soon, but her lawyer and husband say they have heard nothing. Ed Miliband and Nick Clegg both described the situation as abhorrent, while David Cameron said Britain is calling for action from Sudan. He said, "I urge the government of Sudan to overturn the sentence and immediately provide appropriate support and medical care for her and her children. The UK will continue to press the government of Sudan to act." Facebook has added 28 pro-gay symbols to its messaging service in a move it claims will help people express their authentic identity. The pictures include a rainbow-coloured heart, same-sex parents and a homosexual wedding. Others show homosexual sailors and 2 elderly men holding hands. The pictures came as President Obama declared June the USA's annual LGBT Pride Month. In an official statement, President Obama said his administration proudly stands alongside all those who fight for LGBT rights. Earlier this year, Facebook gave users 50 different options to identify their sex, including gender fluid and two-spirit. But Focus on the Family's Jeff Johnston warned it's impossible to deny the biological reality that humanity is divided into 2 halves, male and female. Well, that's all for this week. For more information and regular updates on all of our stories, plus much more, visit our website at christian.org.uk. Until next time, goodbye.